Second waivers, welcome, second waivers. Just turn that down a smidge. Over there. All right, welcome to the show. Second waivers. What's going on with my chroma key? The chroma key. Let's get in here and see. Yeah, that's better. That's better. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. Second waivers. Thanks for coming in. We got let's just throw up the display caption. Well, first of all, let's get our KTLA out. Welcome to the show, everybody. We don't know what's going on. We just got here. Leave a message, though. Don't forget to leave a message, comment, and subscribe. And like it. Or don't like it. Do something. Welcome to the show.
We're here for a reason.
Get Max.
And it's bigger than selling cars. We're here to build for the people who build and shape this country.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah, we're just cruising.
A few folks here left in front of City Hall. We did overhear some of them saying they're on their way to one of the other protests here in Orange County. There are quite a few of them set up for today. For now, reporting live in Anaheim, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
All right, thank you very much, Chip. Right now we're going to take a live aerial look. This is another protest going on in downtown Los Angeles. It looks like this is another group of people gathering outside the steps of City Hall and probably across the street in the park.
Do you remember yesterday we saw thousands of people gather in downtown Los Angeles late in the afternoon around 4 to 5 o'clock. You could not even see pavement. It was a sea of people that had started protesting around 10 o'clock yesterday morning, peacefully making their way, zigzagging through downtown.
Curfew again tonight.
At some point we did have some protesters on the freeway on the 110 eastbound, and I think they ended up exiting over on 6 and then merged together at City Hall. A different story here, less people today, obviously. We are being told, too, that there's another protest scheduled for 3 o'clock, which is in about 45 minutes, and maybe this is the group that's beginning to gather. And it's not confirmed, but apparently we're being told that there's a possibility that they will be calling for the firing of District Attorney Jackie Lacey. We are sending a reporter to that area, and of course, stick around with us. We will be bringing that to you live as well at 3 o'clock.
Of course, they're calling for the firing of Jackie Lacey, but she was elected, so
yes,
let's take care of that at the polls.
And while the protests have been largely peaceful, hundreds of arrests have been made, mainly for curfew violations.
The LA County Sheriff's Department says the curfews likely are not going anywhere. KTLA 5's Courtney Frio live now in Hollywood with the latest. Courtney.
And we want to let everyone know that the LA County curfew is in effect tonight, but it was pushed back from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and will be in effect
let's see, maybe we can even see what's happening with
Robin. And the reason for that curfew, it just makes it easier for police to arrest the
and
troublemakers
to
prevent looting and vandalism. But if we show you video from yesterday's protests, these people expressing outrage over police brutality and the death of George Floyd were mostly peaceful in Venice, Hollywood, downtown LA, and outside Mayor Eric Garcetti's home in Hancock Park. Some 3,000 people have been arrested in LA County since Friday. You see video of the protesters being cuffed with plastic bands and escorted to a sheriff's department bus where they were taken to different locations to be processed under tents. And one of those makeshift processing centers is now under some criticism because those who were arrested near the Westwood protests were taken to the Jackie Robinson Field on the UCLA campus. Today, faculty members are really upset about this, saying it clearly sends an ironic message. Now, to the point that those arrested on looting, vandalism, and burglary charges are not from our area, according to the LA Times, the booking records show the vast majority are, in fact, county residents. For the first time in decades, every sworn member of the LAPD is working on their days, and their days off have been canceled. Mayor Garcetti pointed out last night that by this time in the Rodney King protests, 55 people had already died. So thankfully, we've seen no deaths.
Ryan, It's kind of a good analogy, but nobody likes that. Welcome to the show, everybody. How's everything looking? Things are looking good. Let's just face it. We look good. You're looking good. All this time inside. Got to rest. Let's bring it back up. Oh. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Max, do we have Max? We do not have Max. We can put it out for Robin. We have not been doing the Robin. Let's get Robin in up in here. They're just talking. It's not even big enough to really hear. Is this live or what?
The plague, this original sin of our society. And in some ways,
every level of government to slow the spread of COVID-19 while ensuring our most vulnerable Californians have.
As difficult and scary and uncertain as they've been, they've also been an incredible opportunity for people to be awakened to some of these underlying trends. And they offer an opportunity for us to all work together to tackle them, to take them off, to change America and make it live up to its highest ideals. And part of what's made me so hopeful is the fact that so many young people have been galvanized and activated and motivated and mobilized. Because historically, so much of the progress that we've made in our society has been because of young people. Dr. King was a young man when he got involved. Cesar Chavez was a young man. Malcolm X was a young man. The leaders of the feminist movement were young people. Leaders of union movements were young people. The leaders of the environmental movement in this country and the movement to make sure that the LGBT community finally had a voice. And the country, and the talent and the voice and the sophistication that they're displaying. And it makes me feel optimistic. It makes me feel as if, you know, this country is going to get better. Now, I want to speak directly to the young men and women of color in this country, who, as Cleon just so eloquently described, have witnessed too much violence and too much death. And too often, some of that violence has come from folks who were supposed to be serving and protecting you. I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that your lives matter, that your dreams matter. And when I go home and I look at the faces of my daughters, Sasha and Malia, and I
welcome
look
to the show, everybody. We're just checking
nieces,
channels.
I see limitless potential that deserves to flourish and thrive. And you should be able to learn and make mistakes and live a life of joy without having to worry about what's going to happen when you walk to the store or go for a jog or are driving down the street or looking at some birds in a park. And so I hope that you also feel hopeful, even as you may feel angry, because you have the power to make things better, and you have helped to make the entire country feel as if this is something that's got to change. You've communicated a sense of urgency that is as
come to the Zoom meeting. I sent you the Zoom meeting stuff if you want to come up. We're watching Obama.
I want to acknowledge the folks in law enforcement that share the goals of reimagining policing, because there are folks out there who took the oath to serve your communities and your countries, have a tough job, and I know you're just as outraged about the tragedies in recent weeks as are many of the protesters. And so we're grateful for the vast majority of you who protect and serve. I've been heartened to see those in law enforcement who've recognized, let me march along with these protesters. Let me stand side by side and recognize that I want to be part of the solution. And who've shown restraint and volunteered and engaged and listened, because you're a vital part of the conversation. And
vital.
And change is going to require everybody's participation. Now, when I was in office, as was mentioned, I created a task force on 21st century policing in the wake of the tragic killing of Michael Brown. That task force, which included law enforcement and community leaders and activists, was charged to develop a very specific set of recommendations to strengthen public trust and foster better working relationships between law enforcement and communities that they're supposed to protect, even as they're continuing to promote effective crime reduction. And that report showcased a range of solutions and strategies that were proven, that were based on
Max.
data.
How you doing, Max?
Research to improve community.
First, let's do check 1 2 1 2. How you doing? Max is here, everybody. Max is here.
Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're gonna be hovering over Obama's shoulder there.
And reforms to use the force that police deploy in ways that increase safety rather than precipitate tragedy. And that report demonstrated something that's critical for us today. Most of the reforms that are needed to prevent the type of violence and injustices that we've seen take place at the local level. Now, reform has to take place in more than 19,000 American municipalities, more than 18,000 local enforcement jurisdictions.
That's a lot.
And so as activists and everyday citizens raise their voices, we need to be clear about where change is going to happen and how we can bring about that change. It is mayors and county executives that appoint most police chiefs and negotiate collective bargaining agreements with police unions. And that determines police practices in local communities.
Pick apart his
It's district attorneys and state's attorneys that decide typically whether or not to investigate and ultimately charge those involved in police misconduct. And those are all elected positions.
He's reading a lot.
And in some places, they're police community review.
Put all those books on his bed.
Monitor police.
Okay, now shush.
Those oftentimes may be elected as well. The bottom line is I've been hearing a little bit of chatter in the internet about voting versus protest, politics and participation versus civil disobedience and direct action. This is not a either or. This is a both and. To bring about real change, we both have to highlight a problem and make people in power uncomfortable, but we also have to translate that into practical solutions and laws that can be implemented and we can monitor and make sure we're following up on. So,
who is this guy? Who's this guy think he is?
Let me just close with a couple of specific things. What can we do? Number one, we know there are specific evidence-based reforms that, if we put in place today, would build trust, save lives, would not show an increase in crime. Those are included in the 21st Century Policing Task Force report. You can find it on obama.org. Number two, a lot of mayors and local elected officials read and supported the task force report, but then there wasn't enough follow-through. So today I am urging every mayor in this country to review your use of force policies with members of your community and commit to report on planned reforms. What are the specific steps you can take? And I should add, by the way, that the original task force report was done several years ago. Since that time, we've actually collected data, in part because we implemented some of these reform ideas. So we now have more information and more data as to what works. And there are organizations like Campaign Zero and Color of Change and others that are out there highlighting what the data shows, what works, what doesn't in terms of reducing incidents of police misconduct and violence. Let's go ahead and start implementing those. So we need mayors, county executives, others who are in positions of power to say this is a priority. This is a specific response. Number three, every city in this country should be a My Brother's Keeper community because we have 250 cities, counties, tribal nations who are working to reduce the barriers and expand opportunity for boys and young men of color through programs and policy reforms and public-private partnerships. So go to our website, get working with that because it can make a difference. And let me just close by saying this. I've heard some people say that you have a pandemic, then you have these protests. This reminds people of the 60s and the chaos and the discord and distrust throughout the country. I have to tell you, although I was very young when you had riots and protests and assassinations and discord back in the 60s, I know enough about that history to say there is something different here. You look at those protests, and that was a far more representative cross-section of America out on the streets, peacefully protesting.
Yeah, the hippies
felt moved to do so because of the injustices that they had seen.
They were so funny.
In the 1960s, that kind of broad coalition.
They were doing
the fact that recent
surveys
have showed
you got to do it, man.
They were just trying to do it, you know?
Having then been marred by the actions of
nobody knew how to do it.
Tiny minority that engaged in violence.
And they didn't even know it.
You were trying.
As usual, that got a lot of attention, a lot of focus. Despite all that, a majority of Americans still think those protests were justified. That wouldn't have existed 30, 40, 50 years ago. There is a change in mindset that's taking place, a greater recognition that we can do better. And that is not as a consequence of speeches by politicians. That's not the result of spotlights in news articles. That's a direct result of the activities and organizing and mobilization and engagement of so many young people across the country who put themselves out on the line to make a difference. And so I just have to say thank you to them and for helping to bring about this moment, and just make sure that we now follow through. Because at some point, you know, attention moves away. At some point, protests start to dwindle in size. And it's very important for us to take the momentum that has been created as a society, as a country, and say, let's use this to finally have an impact. All right? Thank you, everybody. Proud of you guys. And I know that we're going to be hearing from a bunch of people who have been on the front lines on this and know a lot more than I do about it. Proud of it.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President, for everyone that.
That's great. We're bringing that down. That's great. There's apparently a big forum going on, but we got a lot to talk about, Max. Lots to talk about. Where are we on the thing?
Well, I mean, first off, look. Barry says it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. All right. He's just like, look, we got to do it together, though. Is the deal. And he's not wrong. Barry's not wrong. We got to do it together. And I mean, it's a cliche to say we're all in it together because we're all doing different stuff, all different times. Everybody got different life circumstances. Everybody got this unique thing that is their life, but it's
awful. It's just awful. Max, we're getting we lost Max. We've lost Max. All right, let's go back in ABC Live. We were watching the General Hospital. What? General Hospital. Okay, we got these guys. Yeah, Obama's giving a great, or Obama just finished his speech. Come back over to us. Let's find those. Huh? Nothing on there. Let's do KTLA. I think we lost Max for a second. Max. Yeah, we lost him. We lost him. Alright, so we'll wait for that to load up. Let's bring down that display caption. Welcome to the show, everybody. Second wave. Oh, we're just going to be bebopping around the channels. Max got some stuff to talk about. Oh. Display capture up. It's the at the end that throws it up there, folks. Alright, okay.
Bring you updates throughout the afternoon. Still, here in the Hollywood area, two very large crowds making their way through two different places here in Hollywood. That's the latest overhead. Larry, welcome to Sky 5. Back to you.
All right, Larry, thank you so much. Let's turn to...
Larry, Sky 5. We got to get back into Sky 5. Because Sky 5 is where it's at. Oh. Sky 5. Why doesn't Sky 5 just have a... You know what, maybe somebody were twitchy. Maybe the Twitchsters. Having a little kitty. So that was Max's. Max's had a lot to talk about. And then he went out. Cimarron Station. Kind of close to some of the action. Yesterday. Shopping with Sophia? No. Oh. Huh. Who doesn't want some of this, everybody? Who doesn't want that? We got.
That's what keeps us together.
Here we go. Getting you back in.
Talk about equality, being white, black, It don't matter you spare my thoughts from water.
Hey, Pat, what happened?
The stuff that we need to be focusing on is the lack of
it's still up. The meeting's still up.
We need to be preparing each other.
Can you come back? We'll start a new meeting.
26. A lot of this shit around here,
so it
scares me because of the man that I am.
Let's do a new meeting.
We're doing and the way we're doing.
Forget about that.
You don't understand. Our unity is what we need. Our unity is what makes us.
Settle down, everybody. Settle down. These are most of the protests going on in the country today, people. We'll just leave that up for a second while we get it together. Okay, wait. I'm not going to take it down yet. But what is it? What's it saying? What happened when you got kicked out?
It just went to connect.
Yeah. Yeah. We were in the middle of the big thing. Okay. Get back in here. Get back in here. Leave you up here for a moment. Yeah, crash. Things are crashing. Cimarron Station. Lot of are we Wi-Fi or are we Ethernet over there? That's a wired connection. Okay, everybody just needs to, let's bring that down. Bring that down. We need to go. Let's go out to the cargo bay. Where's Max? Max and a beer. Cargo bay. Beer. Oh wait, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I have my phone turned down. Ah.
Oh, it says unable to connect to Zoom. Please check your network connection and try again.
Wild. Well, once you get out some of your other things, can you get rid of some of your 47 windows that you have up? I know. Max has like 35 windows, like just going.
There we go. Yeah, I was looking to my 2G connection.
And when you go back, it's like important. Each one's just as important as they were when you looked them up. Wow, we're just chilling in the cargo bay, folks. Ah, you don't want to go back inside. We're going back inside.
733 4551 766.
I think Zoom's just maybe doing the Obama thing. Everybody's Zooming right now. Everybody's trying to hack that Zoom. Washington, D.C., somebody's yelling. People are upset. That's rough. Hi, everyone. Hi. All right, that's big. Big KTLA. Where are we? We're there. It's not what we wanted. Okay, we're looking. We're going down. We're to Alpha.
Oh my God! You know who tried to call through because I texted him.
Texting.
After Fairfax was Ash. I texted Ash because I was like, dude, it's super sad about Fairfax.
Super sad. Super sad. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, down in Fairfax.
Down on the Fairfax, yeah.
Down on the Fairfax. Like, carnage from Saturday. Woo.
I'll hit up after this. I know. I would have gone down there to clean. My friends called me when, and I was getting ready as I was starting to see stuff happen, like violence erupt over on the west side, and I'm like, maybe it's better that you get inside. Maybe now isn't the exact perfect time.
Yeah.
But everyone, I mean, there was a lot. I liked that. That was trying.
Don't panic, everybody. Don't panic. It's the worst. The looting's over. The looting and the madness is certainly over. Now we've got organized. Looks like we have organized groups getting things done. Just had a message from El Ex-Presidente.
Well,
Obama's fantastic. But
we want to
leave a comment.
Want to announce.
Do you have visuals on comments? BTW. Do you have any visuals on the comments? Is Robin here? Robin, wake up, Robin. Robin's sleeping, you guys. She wasn't sleeping that one day, and it was like, I'm not sleeping. Robin. Jenna, we want to give big ups to Jenna in Calabasas. Mr. Cookie Jar, we're thinking of you. And the fam. What else? Family everywhere. Does the bro have a new? Oh, you know what we haven't checked lately? Let's go and check and see if your broski has a new broski. Okay, curfew has been moved to 9 o'clock. How do you feel about that, Max?
I saw that we got a more responsible curfew that isn't going to. I mean, first off, that Beverly Hills 1 p.m. curfew was ridiculous. To tell people that they can't be outside in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Culver City 4 o'clock. Culver City 4 o'clock. Little known, just learned fact. Culver City used to be a sundown town, where if you were a person of color, you didn't want to be caught down after sundown. It had no dark past.
Is this Highland? Is this Highland Avenue?
This is Culver City.
This is Culver City.
Okay. Yeah, it was Culver City I was talking about. I mean, I had no idea the Culver City police were back in the day, allegedly one of the most, I don't know, maybe now too, but not the most progressive when it came to racial justice. I mean, that was since they were known. I had no clue. I thought Culver City was known for movies, studios. The early.
Yeah, how many pools can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
But yeah, I mean,
that's a good group. That's a good sized group. I'd say over 200, 300 people. That's good. Marching to 3 o'clock.
We do have multiple protests on the ground in Los Angeles. Multiple protests on the ground.
Bring that down.
Maintaining contact with citizen. I think we've got Hollywood, and I mean all 4 officers charged for the death of George.
Wait,
we want to say, let's release that. Let's just say right off the bat. And did you lead with all 4 officers were in fact charged?
No. That's we can talk about that. All 4 officers have been charged.
All 4 officers were charged.
Yeah. Let's get up.
Right now, we have hundreds of protesters at Beverly and Highland. Protesters are gathering at Highland and 3rd. There was an attempted robbery at Wilshire and Norton. And protesters are gathering at Sunset and Vine. Sorry, this is just what was on my Citizen app.
These are Citizen app live updates.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Max. Can you go over that again? Can you go over that again one more time slowly?
Sure. So we have protesters gathering at Sunset and Vine. That was an hour ago. Hundreds of protesters just now at Beverly Boulevard in North Highland. And then we also have protesters gathering updated 5 minutes ago at South Highland and 3rd. Which, I mean, that's Hancock Park again. I think we all remember.
Right.
Remember yesterday's Hancock Park, which I had multiple people in my life attend. Breeze went there. Yeah, between Beverly, right there on Highland, between Beverly and 3rd, there's a lot of people. I think is what's happening.
Let's take. Hey, we have loaded up a message from somebody well known to you, your brother in New York, from yesterday. I haven't heard it. Should we play it?
I don't know if he's. Oh, he put it on social media?
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay, let's see. Hold on a second. Let's put this on pause because that's a procession. All right, let's just get in.
So here we are.
Because in the middle of all of this and this thing, people forget. I know it seems like a universal way when we were afraid of our groceries.
For the COVID crisis.
A few weeks back, remember being afraid of your groceries?
Side by side. Wait, your brother's died.
Of sick. I'm on the ECMO unit now of the cardiac care unit, one of the ICUs, and we have multiple patients that are on ECMO and vents on day 45 and day 39, or just 2 of them, and they're probably obviously not going to make it. Their lungs are very stiff.
People on day 35, people on day 49, still having problems.
This disease pathology. So they're going to be on the vents for the rest of their life. And what kind of quality of life is that? So now it's a whole other aspect of just medicine is also dealing with families and trying to convince them that their loved ones, it might be time to unfortunately let go, because we've all done everything that we've done, and would this be fair to that family member if that's what they would want for a quality of life? And it's a very difficult, touchy subject, because obviously if it was my mom or my loved one, I would say no, keep going, do everything you can, but it's very tough. And then on top of it now, New York's being bombarded with riots and looting.
The riots.
And it's just like the city hasn't dealt with enough with just COVID. And I've been here for 62 days, and like I said, I'm from San Diego. I don't live here.
Steve has my brother's newest video.
And
2 more minutes.
It's very disheartening that this state is now
1 minute 20
with riots. And my hotel next door, I came downstairs to go to work this morning, and all the windows are broken of the little shops that are right next to my spot. So it's very close to home from that point of view. But I know that we're also Bellevue Hospital has a direct contract with NYPD and New York Fire Department, where we take all their injured officers and firefighters. And the other night, at one of the protests, apparently they like to be called, that a Molotov cocktail was thrown in the squad car, and obviously the glass bottle ruptured and it caught fire inside of the car, and they burned very severely. They're downstairs. They're going to be coming up to the ICU shortly, so I'll be checking in on them. But it's just horrific that this is the state that we're living in. But I hope everyone's home and safe, and I hope that your areas aren't hit too hard with COVID, but also now dealing with these racial issues. I hope everyone stays safe. God bless.
Good. That's nice. That's nice. Little bit of love from Dr. Spangler. Dr. Spangler. Okay, we're throwing you back up. We've lost. So there's just a bunch of things going on. The best thing is your Citizen app, folks. Honestly, TV just doesn't even work anymore like it used to. Yeah, get on your app. But yeah, you can hang out with us anyways. What else do we want to do? Let's do a movie review, and it looked like I saw some red hair in there. Oh, a sexy, good-looking, tall redhead. Woo. Okay, let's see here. What else? We're doing the movie. Now we have there's a lot. Wait a minute, let's bring this down for a second. Let's just bring this down. There's a lot of movie reviews that just haven't happened in the past week. Wouldn't you agree?
I would. All right, so I mean, let's just be real and say that movie / film and TV. I mean, we're just gonna loop film in with TV. Started the new Space Force series last night, #1 in America on Netflix.
Max is talking about things that are #1 in America, folks. Number one. Space Force, right? Exciting. Just like us right now, huh? Space Force.
Yeah, I definitely hear it. Like, I tried to give it a little bit of attention. First, I started watching, there's all the documentaries about the 92 riots are out. Right now, all the ones that, got made, whether it's, a few years ago, 2017, 2018, or, years before that, but there's a big push, obviously, because of relevance. There's this funny surreal moment though where it just feels like you're watching the news. I remember it was during Contagion.
Contagion.
I had Contagion, and I had a fellow crew member come in and comment that it was just like, oh, it looks like the news. Obviously, it was a very, there was a part where you had to.
I know couples that got in huge arguments over that movie.
Really?
Contagion, yeah. That was it was definitely a point of discussion for many people.
First off, the talented Mr. Ripley crew back together at last. Like, we're talking Gwyneth
at last.
Matt, right? So, together.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Max's movie review. Yeah.
Right. Well, did I do Contagion before? I think we did do Contagion before. We gave it like maybe a 4.
We did. We digressed to Contagion because you were comparing it to something with Space Force.
Space Force was focused on the other piece of news.
Everybody has to take a shot when Max gets sidetracked today. Okay, everybody taking a shot. So that's one shot. Take a shot. It's the drinking game. What else is happening? Yeah, and you have to take a shot when I forget what I'm talking about. That's another part of it. Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. Second Waivers. We were watching the marches, but they look a lot like yesterday's, which were peaceful. I wouldn't say the days before because those were not peaceful, but these are just, right? Well thought out, well organized groups of young people getting out there, and I remember it well from when I had time to do it, and I did 1%. Yeah.
People are out there making their voices heard. Dissent is the most American thing.
We burned a Starbucks on Wall Street and then like lost credibility or some shit like that. I forget, that was so long ago. Welcome to the show, everybody. So yeah, we got how many more minutes? This show's been on for an hour. We got 7 more minutes. What do you want to? Anything else you want to talk about? That was just one night. I haven't seen you in 4 days. What'd you watch on Sunday? Space Force. When did Space Force come
out? Last night, but there.
Do you remember what you watched on Sunday? No.
I can't.
No.
I can't.
Take a shot, everybody. Max can't.
Yeah, no, it's all kind of a... If you want, we can comment.
Fairfax burned, and what did you watch? Were you watching comfort things? It was during the heat of the looting, the riots. Were you watching anything comforting?
Hey, you know what? I tried at one point to put Weird Science on, but I watched it for like five minutes, and then I just got up and started making food.
Okay, that's the movie review, folks.
Yeah. We can close out with a weird current event. What's with Nazis taking over? This is Max's opinion corner. This is Max's opinion here.
Oh wait, let's put up. Okay, great. Yeah, let's put something in the text down here. Max's. What would you like it called? Max's.
So this is my op-ed. Today I'd like to comment on. Look, everybody knew Nazis sucked, right? They're the classic bad guys in all the Indiana Jones movies. Classic bad guys. A little while ago, we had Nazis come back on trend, and they took a few things. One of the things was khakis. We didn't need those. White polos didn't need those. We didn't need those. They can have them. Actually, it's fine. They want to look like weird.
I tried to wear khakis once, and it ruined a movie deal. It was horrible.
It's
khakis not.
It's not going to help you. Yeah. They also took everybody kind of had a haircut, but the most important, most noted thing: tiki torches. Charlottesville March. Remember the jerks that were marching? That Jews won't replace them.
Who can forget? Who can forget?
Remember the Charlottesville? Who can forget the Charlottesville Nazis? Very fine people. Very fine people. Sarcasm. Sorry, but tiki torches. Now, before anybody officially from our leadership spoke up, you want to know who came out and said something? Tiki said this isn't in the spirit of tiki.
No. That's not. You don't carry tikis to an angry mob. Angry mob should not be carrying tiki torches.
Buddy, yeah, tiki's not about division. Tiki's not about hate.
Tiki's not about hate people. Leave a comment, subscribe if you think so.
By Americans in the middle 20th century. But the larger thing that it's about, unity, love, strength, tropical drinks,
love, strength.
Coming out of things that normally wouldn't have flames, those tropical.
4 minutes, bring it on home. Bring it on home.
It saddened me to learn that a second element and one of the larger elements of tiki culture, the other anchor, the shirt, the Aloha shirt. So now the torch and now the Aloha shirt has been taken by the Nazis.
Hawaiian
fringe groups. We won't go into it, and I don't want to give them too much airtime. But it's become an alt-right symbol and a uniform
birdie print.
Very extremist French. Now here's all I have to say.
They like beach ball prints.
First off, with it,
you can't.
And you can't have it. You can't have tiki. All right, I see what you're trying to do. You can't have good times. You know what they're going to come for next? Weird rum drinks. Weird, oversized rum drinks.
Yeah, no, they just totally try to like normalize like the hate mob. Like, just grab a tiki torch. You outside barbecuing, not a big deal. You can still be joining a hate mob. Like, grab a tiki torch.
Ruining it. Nazis, you suck. I mean, also, they're the adoption of attitudes.
So the Hawaiian shirts, they're wearing Hawaiian shirts all over the place now.
Honestly, get another uniform.
What is that? Like, how did this? So who is it? What's his? I'm glad I don't remember his name. Ben Davis. It's a 2-word first name. Is the lead guy? Now, who made this fashion statement? Who is there? Was there a walkway?
I'm not going to mention.
How did this? You don't want to even get into how it was. Like, who's wearing it? No, we don't know. How many are wearing it? Is it a big trend? It's a big trend.
It's a hard alt-right extremist uniform symbol that's nearly cropping up. And look.
Is it the Proud Boys? Are the Proud Boys wearing Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah, no, you can't have it. You can't have our good times. You can't mask your genocidal hate attitudes in the shroud.
They can't have them, though. They cannot have them. Let's take if you know how to get our Hawaiian shirts back, people, leave a comment. What else, Max? We got a minute. Let's wrap it up. We're going to go to the outro. Tell what's his name. Outro. Tell the beautiful red girl that was just hanging out in here. Outro.
Just remember that the man next to you is your brother, and y'all better start acting like that. Yeah. Otherwise, this whole thing's for nothing. It's all gonna go up.
There it is, folks.
So just remember.
That's it.
It's you and me together, is the only way we're going to do it. Nobody did anything alone.
Nobody's done
anything. All right?
Hey, what do you think about...
Remember that the world's round. The world's round. And everything comes back around to you eventually. You know what? I swear to Christ, if the alt-right starts adopting like puppy skirts, I wouldn't be surprised. Little poodle skirts, little poodle puppy skirts. Oh, look at that puppy. Oh, he's a little good boy. Little good boy. Bailey Warren, Liz's dog, and at times surrogate, was at the protests with his humans. He's a pretty great guy. He's a very good boy. Very good boy. I'm looking towards the final season. The American finale. It's been a real pleasure being here.